Okay, man, shalom. I swear I'm only bringing this message because I promise Wednesdays and Sundays. I had the longest Monday and the longest Tuesday that I've ever had in my life. City Hall did me dirty. Okay? They did me dirty. But I'm not going to talk to that. I'm not even going to talk about that because not that many people that listen to my message anyway, so I'm not even going to discuss that. That's neither here nor there. But I just had the most frustrating Monday that you can possibly think of, except for losing a family member. Hallelujah. But next to that, I've had an awful Monday. And Tuesday didn't help. Okay? I said I was going to come sooner than normal. No way in the possible, there's no way in the world I was in the mood to bring any message on Monday. No way. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm here tonight, as I promised, Wednesday and Sunday. But we're going to get right into this. We're not even going to waste any time. And I'm probably going to have to continue this message. I worked all day. I'm probably going to have to continue this message. And you might not see the rest until tomorrow. Okay? But I want to bring the message. Why? Because it's Wednesday night. And I just want to keep my word. Now, the title of this message is Brother's Guardian. The title of this message is Brother's Guardian. Okay? Let's get right into it. We're going to get right into it, right? Brother's Guardian. Let's go straight down here, shall we? Now, why am I bringing this message? I had the message halfway done. This was the message I was intending, I was going to attempt to bring Monday or Tuesday. And it was no way in the world I was up for it. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get right to it. Now, but I want to say, one of the reasons why people that, let's say atheists or people in religion or black power people, people that believe in themselves, or maybe people that may be in the Kemet community, or men that worship women, or 5%ers, like men that worship themselves, okay, or think that they are the God. Now, yes, we are gods, but a lot of you cats, you take that way out of proportion, okay? So now, with this being said, the reason why many of you have no respect for the scriptures is for three reasons. What you do is, first of all, many of you all, is you discombobulate the truth with Christianity. You discombobulate, I don't know if that's a word. You discombobulate the truth with Christianity. That's why the truth, you don't like it, you don't believe it, you don't respect it. And this is why the truth is hindered. Because they have changed the identity of the true Messiah. They have changed the name of the true Messiah. But more importantly, they changed the attitude, perspective, and the personality of the true Messiah. Now, this is major. The fact that they changed the Messiah's personality is major. Now, I remember the song that a brother brought out, and I can't think of his name. The brother makes good music. Him and his wife, they make good music. So, no disrespect to this brother. Okay? But I remember the song he brought out, it blew up. It went mainstream. It went viral. I think he was saying, try Jesus, but don't try me, because I throw hands. Right? Now, I understand this concept, right? And no, Christ didn't put his hands on anybody. And Christ was attacked by his own people on multiple occasions. And Christ never threw one finger back at any of these people. Now, a lot of you will say, well, that's weak, which is the reason why we don't respect the truth. which is the reason why we don't respect Jesus. Well, he's not Jesus, number one, okay? And I want you to get where I'm going with this message. Will I let somebody put their hands on me? Absolutely not. There are very, very few men, very, very, very few men in this world that would allow someone that, now I'm not talking tough, I'm not talking super gangster, I'm just saying, just as a grown man or as a person, no one should allow someone to put their hands on them, okay? I mean, you know. Now, was Christ an advocate of people coming and putting hands and feet on you and you just getting up, brushing off, and walking away? Was Christ an advocate of that? Well, if you go to Luke chapter 22, I can't think of the verse. I don't have it here. But if you go to Luke chapter 22, he said, sell a knapsack, and if you don't have a sword, go buy one. So in other words, he's saying, look, you have to sell something to get the money, to get the coins, to buy a sword, then do so. Those words were in red. Christ, you can go find the verse yourself. Christ was speaking to his disciples. He told his disciples to buy a sword. Today, that is equal as telling someone to go purchase a twister or to go purchase a gun. It's the same thing, right? So, is Christ an advocate of somebody, or just getting beat up? Or I mean, even defending yourself physically. Is he an advocate of that? Of course he's not, right? So you would say, well, why did Christ let people put hands and feet on him, throw stones at him, do all of these cuss at him, do all of these things to him? But he told his disciples to buy a weapon and defend themselves. Isn't that contradictory? No, not if you understand Christ's identity and not if you understand who he is. Christ was the only man that came down here on this planet and didn't sin. He's the only man that's ever walked the planet and never sinned. I mean, we have some really, really stand-up righteous men that walked before in the past. We have Enoch, which I don't even know if you can get any better than Enoch as an ordinary man. Because a lot of people talk about Abraham. A lot of people say, well, Abraham was probably righteous. Yeah, he was. But I don't even think he was better than Enoch. Enoch, I mean, I'm sure he had to sin. Elijah was another one. We're talking about two people that didn't face death. They got translated. Okay? They died, but not the way that we die, right? They were translated, and they were took up into the heavens. They were caught up into the heavens, okay? People got caught up before in the Old Testament, right? So, obviously, those men were close. Enoch had to be close to perfect. Abraham, we know, was very righteous. Elijah was extremely righteous. And then we've had other people that were Zechariah and his family were very upright, but they weren't perfect. They sinned. Every person beside Christ that ever walked this earth sinned at some point in time in their life. Okay? King David sinned. They only speak about two of his sins. One sin, very horrible, got a guy killed, put his right-hand man soldier on the front line to get murdered and then banged his wife. That's pretty wicked, right? Yes, this is King David, right? And he did a couple other things too, right? King David wasn't perfect, but he was very righteous, right? But my point is, and where am I going with this? So is Christ a hypocrite for allowing hands and feet to get put on him, getting up, dusting it off and running off, right? And because if you read, it tells you on multiple occasions when people attempted to stone him, he had to disappear. Christ had to escape on multiple occasions. Escape from what? Escape from the persecution of who? His own people, because he came to his own people. So why would he say, would he tell his disciples, buy a sword, protect yourself, but, he didn't protect himself. Well, he did, but not offensively. He was defense, meaning he eluded the persecution. Now, with that being said, okay, I want people to understand something. And I'm going to make a really good point here, right? Now, let's first go to Matthew chapter 5, because a lot of people, our own black people, right, and people in religion, and people that are atheists, people in the Kemet community, 5%ers, those who believe that themselves, those who believe that they are Elohim, which is true, but not in the way they think they are, right? At least not at this point. Maybe some of our forefathers were at that point that you all want to be, but as long as your pineal gland remains at such a low frequency, you can never accomplish the things that many of your forefathers did. Okay, and to be on the level that Adam was on, we're not anywhere near that, right? Because Adam he actually had the power and the capacity to cross over from realm to realm. That's because his pineal gland, that's too deep for y'all, right? Those are matters too high for you all. So and so now let's get back to the message, right? I don't want to lose you all with that one. But now, what I'm saying here is, a lot of people think that the truth is a weak truth, is a weak faith, because of some of the scriptures and the way that it's been discombobulated with the weakness of Christianity. Okay? So one scripture that many of you all get twisted, and I want to explain this to you all, okay? It says here, verse 40, he says, verse 43, Christ says in red, this is Matthew chapter 5, verse 43, and Christ said, ye have learned that it has been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you. And okay, so anyway, love your enemies is the punchline here, right? That's my point, right? So I think the problem is that a lot of people think that that's talking about love the Ku Klux Klan, love the Chinaman that accuse our young black sisters when they go inside these wig stores, accuse them of stealing, and start putting hands and feet on them. Love the Arabs that disrespect our sisters, call them bitchs and call them whores and all of these things when they go into their establishments. No, he's not talking about love those that hate us. We're not required to love the Ku Klux Klan. We're not required to love wicked politicians that work against us. We're not required to love these people. No, not at all. Okay? Now, Christ would never say something so weak. Okay? Now, let's keep going, right? Let's go to verse 45, right? He says, that ye may be the children of your Father, which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do ye not even the publicans the same? So, in other words, this is what Christ is saying. Now, what does love mean? Okay, because we don't want to get too mushy, right? Love means to be a companion. That's what it means, right? We're not talking about the love where somebody's running through the field, dandelions, with their arms wide, eyes glistening, with a big rosy red smile, running towards some other person to give them a hug. That's not what we're talking about. Love means to be a companion with someone else who is solid in the truth and someone else who has trust in Yahushua HaMashiach. That's love. To have compassion, meaning if I see my brother down and out in the street, or if I see my brother getting attacked by those of another nation, or even if I see a bunch of Chinamen beating up my brother, I'm to run to his aid. I'm to assist him. Now, if he getting beat up by some other niggas, I don't know what he did. You know what I'm saying? I'm just be honest with you. You gotta be careful. They whooping on him for something. He done did something. So I mind my business, right? But if I see 4 or 5 Caucasian men, right, and they putting hands and feet on a brother, and he running for his life, he running for himself, I'm to aid him. Yes, that's what I'm supposed to do, right? And they start pulling out hammers, then, well, if I don't have one, then that's none of my business, right? But I'm just being real with you. So at the end of the day, we're supposed to show compassion for who? For our own people, for the Israelites. Now, does this mean to hate a Caucasian man? No. Does this mean to hate an Arab man? Absolutely not. Does this mean to hate a Chinese man? No, it don't mean to hate a Chinese man either. Even though they can be something else, right? Does this mean to hate Amalek? Well, don't even mean really to hate Amalek, to be honest with you. But, Amalek is an MF, right? Which is, Amalek, by the way, is those whom call themselves the Jews. Okay, those white men that call themselves the Jews, those that wear that little thing and they wear a little beard and they're very pale. You can see their veins running through their whole body. And they call themselves the true people of God. They're imposters. Okay, so does it mean that to hate, despise these people? No, it doesn't mean that. Okay, it doesn't mean that at all. All right, now, are we allowed to hate? Well, that depends. Because Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Yahushua HaMashiach is the same in the Old Testament. He's the same right now, and he's going to be the same for eternity. Did he act different in the Old Testament than in the New Testament? Because Christ is the God of the Old Testament. His personality was zero tolerance. When he came here in the New Testament, he gave us grace. He gave us mercy. So it's like two of the so people will say, what's Christ? An oxymoron? Is Christ is he one of those what's that diagnostics that they talk? Is he one of those bipolar people? No, there's nothing bipolar about Christ. Okay? He's still the same person, right? But he just came with a different decree in the New Testament. That's all. Okay? Now, I want you all to understand something here. Because he says, for if ye love them which love you, what reward? So now, what does he mean by that? So, let's just say, an example. Let's just say you're famous, right? And this is not exactly what he's talking about, but let's say you're famous. Somebody's famous. Everybody loves you. Well, they show you love, right? The crowd is cheering for you, right? So, you know what? That's not a great example. That's not even what he's talking about. He's talking about, let's say that you're anybody, right? And you only show liking to the people that show liking to you. That's basically what he's saying, right? What good is that? Because those people show liking to you. Now, then he's going to say, and if you salute your brethren only, so that's how you know When he said, if you only love those who love you, if you only have compassion for those who have compassion for you, if you only are a companion to those who are a companion to you, he's talking about the people of your own nation. He's not talking about the Ku Klux Klan. Okay? This is how you know that he's talking about that, because then he's going to come in the next verse and he's going to say, and if you salute your brethren only. And then if you notice, he used the word salute. Why didn't he use the word compassion or the word love? Because he's saying that if you salute Israelites only and not people of other nations, he's not saying you have to love them. He's saying if you don't greet them, if you don't salute them. And then what do you do after you salute? You walk away. Right? Does that mean we despise them? No. Because like I said, I know some good Caucasian brothers. Okay? And I know some good Arab brothers, especially some good Arab brothers. All right? Now, I'm not going to call them brothers because I don't know if, see, that's the thing. I'm not going to call them brothers according to the way, brothers according to Revelations 1:14 and 15. I can't call them that because if you're not in the same nation as me, the only way that you can be considered a neighbor, which is also a brethren, not a brother as in my Israelite brother or the brother that came out of my mother's womb, but you become a brother of the way. You just like in Islam, right? Become brothers in Islam, right? So you all got that from the truth. So it's like somebody can be my brethren in Christ. They're not my real brother. They may be an Arab guy. But if they hold fast in the trust of Revelations 1:14 and 15, and they wholeheartedly attempt to follow the commandments that was passed down from Christ, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then they are a brother in the way. They are a brother of the way. That's the word. That's what Christ is talking about. That's what he's referring about. He's not saying go and he's not even saying salute the Ku Klux Klan if they got on a mask. If they're blatantly telling you they're Klan members, he's not saying, oh, hey, how you doing there, Klan man? Right? Now, can you be perfect without being an enemy to somebody in your nation that's your enemy? So in other words, he's saying that. And let me explain to you where Christ got this. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18, and it says, Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahuwah. Am I perfect? No. Are any of you perfect? No. So if somebody builds up a frustration, or a group of people builds up a frustration until this woman or this man becomes extremely angry. The Old Testament also says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. So is that against the law? Well, Christ came and superseded some of the things of the law. So if somebody sucker slides you, you're not supposed to, if you sucker slide them back, is that sin? No. Because Christ is obviously an advocate of self-defense. Even Paul said, be peaceably with all men, or for one woman to be peaceably with all women, if possible. If possible. We all strive to be peaceable with all men. So, it's right here, it's telling you that Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against your brother, but thou shalt love your neighbor. So why didn't it say brother? Why did it say neighbor? Because you had people of other nations that clung, or not clung, I don't think that's a word, but that were clinging to the Israelites. Okay? But even to some extent, a lot of those people were considered Israelites. But we're not going to get into this right now. Okay? The truth is the truth. But now, I want everybody to understand. And then Christ is going to say, but now, here's the kicker. Right? So, why are we to love our neighbor? Why are we to love our enemies? Who are our enemies again? Our enemies are the people within our own nation. We're not required to love the Ku Klux Klan. We're not required to love wicked politicians. But now, it's not necessarily a requirement to love the wicked people in your nation either. It's not necessarily a requirement unless you want to be perfect. So if you want to be blameless and you want to be perfect, then it's a requirement. Me personally, I am striving for perfection. Not the perfection as in nobody can see, or not as in not having a blemish like Christ. But another word for perfection is blameless. I strive to be blameless. To you niggas? No, to Christ. I don't want to eat this in front of y'all face. I got me some chocolate ice cream and water ice here, and I don't want it to melt. Gelada is what they call them. My little treat. Treated myself. Now this message is going to have to be continued. But I wanted to keep my promise and drop something tonight. I wasn't going to go past Wednesday. Like I said, I had a Monday and a Tuesday from hell. City Hall ain't S-H-I-T. Okay? But I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take my frustration out on anyone else. And even though many people despise me and don't like my messages, I still do have a few people that wanted to hear from me tonight. So I made sure I brought this lesson from you. Now this is probably going to be 3 parts. I'm going to get from out of the street. I've been working all day. I'm tired. Had to go running back and forth to Home Depots and Lowe's today. I'm being tracked anyway, so many of you probably know. But in any event, I need some rest. I'm going to try to do the other 2 messages tomorrow, so that at least that you'll be able to, try to do the other messages tonight, to finish this up. It's a good lesson, so at least that if you all can, when you get a chance tomorrow, you can watch it tomorrow. But I'm going to drop this one. You'll see this one, right? I just want y'all to know I'm coming, that's all. It's Wednesday. I'm coming. I said I was going to come sooner than normal. I wanted to do it Monday or Tuesday, but there was no way in the world I was in the mood to come and do any message yesterday, specifically Monday. Monday, I wanted to do things. You understand what I'm saying? Monday, I was very frustrated. Okay? But, so he says, love your enemies. Okay? That you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. And I'm going to go to verse 46. He says, so we got that all straight. So, but then it says in verse 48, after he says everything, he says, "Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect." Now, are any of you perfect? No, none of us are. And I want y'all to hold that thought, because we can strive to be blameless, but at the end of the day, people push buttons, City Hall push buttons, neighbors push buttons, right? We do our best. We try to be humble. Many of us. Some of y'all off the wall. I used to be back in the day. It used to be very little tolerance. But as you get older, you have to become mature. And not only that, you might get yourself hurt. Nobody's running around here being tough anymore. You still got some people that do. If there's anybody out here that's running around that's being tough, I advise you to stop. Right? Be humble. Right? But it says, "Be ye therefore perfect as your Father in them." That's not talking about blameless. That's literally talking about without blemish. Why? Because it's referring to God. So, I'll be back.